Good morning, dear students. I hope all of you are fine and doing good. Two classes are already over now, and today is the third class of English grammar, and one lesson almost completed. So I hope now you all are back in the mode of study. Okay, so attend your online classes regularly, children, and yes, whatever definitions I'm providing at the end of my session, just note it down in your rough copy. Keep on noting it down in your rough copy and start learning those definitions. Okay, very soon you will be provided with your books and copies also, and once you get your books and copies, I'll start giving you homeworks also. Okay, so in my previous session, I have started lesson 2. I started lesson number 2, that was kinds of sentences. And there are, as you all know, as I have discussed earlier also, that there are 4 kinds of sentences. Okay, so before starting today's session, let me revise the very first 2 kinds of sentences which I have already discussed in my previous session. Okay, so there are 4 kinds of sentences: assertive sentence, interrogative sentences, imperative sentences, and exclamatory sentences. Okay, so what are assertive sentences? As I told you all, assertive sentences are statement. They are simple sentences. They are simple statement declaring a fact, statement telling a fact. Okay, and assertive sentence always ends with a full stop. Okay, assertive sentence always ends with a full stop. Okay, it always ends with a full stop and it declares a fact. It declares a fact. Then the second thing which I told about assertive sentence is that assertive sentence can either be positive or it can be negative. It can either be positive, which you may also understand by this term, affirmative. Okay, it can either be affirmative or it can be negative. Okay, affirmative means positive sentence. Statement which is said in a positive manner, they are known as affirmative sentence. Okay, and a sentence that has the sentence in which the word no, not, or never is used, they are known as negative sentences. Okay, so assertive sentence can either be affirmative or it can be negative. Okay, and they end with a full stop. So this, and I gave you a few examples also. For example, the sun rises in the east. So this is an affirmative sentence. This is a statement telling a fact, a universal truth, that sun rises in the east. I'm not very happy today. Okay, this is the statement telling a fact, my feeling that I'm not feeling very happy right now. Okay, so these are simple statements and they ends with full stop. So this all things I told you in my previous class also. I'm just revising it once. Now, interrogative sentences. The second kind of sentence was interrogative sentence. Okay, interrogative sentences are the sentences asking about someone or something. Interrogative sentence asks about someone or something. It's a question. They are questions and they always ends with an interrogation mark. Interrogative sentences always ends with an interrogation mark, which you can see it here. It is also known as question mark. Okay, and they ask about someone or something. For example, who are you? What are you doing? What is it? Okay, so these sentences, interrogative sentences, they ask questions. Now, second thing which I told about interrogative sentence was that they are of 2 types. They are of 2 types. Yes, no questions, and WH questions. Yes, no questions and WH questions. I told you all that questions, okay, which begins with a helping verb. First of all, yes, no questions are those questions which begins with helping verb, is, am, are, was, were, and they can be answered in yes or no. Means they can be answered either by saying yes or by saying no simply. Okay, they can answer by saying yes or no simply. Okay, no much explanation is not needed in yes no questions. Okay, whereas in WH questions, in this type of questions, explanation is needed and they always start with WH words. WH questions always starts with WH word. WH words. What are WH words? What, when, okay, where, why, how. These are WH words. Why? Because they are starting, see here, WH means starting with letter WH and here it starts with letter H. So that is why they are known as WH words. Okay, so the questions which starts with WH words, they cannot be answered by simply saying yes or no. Okay, proper information has to be given. These questions, they need explanation. You will have to specify the information which is asked in these types of questions. Okay, so I hope now that these two kinds of sentences, assertive sentence and interrogative sentence, is clear to you all. Okay, now today I'll start with the next kind of sentence, that is imperative sentence. Okay, third kind, imperative sentence. Now, what are imperative sentences? What are imperative sentences? Sentences expressing an order, command, request, suggestion, advice comes under the category of imperative sentences. Okay, so the very first point about imperative sentence is that imperative sentence expresses an order. It expresses an order, command, okay, advice, suggestion, okay, request. Okay, imperative sentences, they express an order, command, advice, suggestion or request. Now, the second important thing about imperative sentence is that they also end with full stop, children. Okay, imperative sentence also ends with a full stop. They end with a full stop. And you have studied that assertive sentence also ends with full stop. Okay, so it expresses an order, command, advice, suggestion or request and it ends with a full stop. And one more important thing about imperative sentence is that, children, that subject is not present. Okay, subject is not present in imperative sentence. Okay, it is understood. Subject is not present, it is understood. You is understood as the subject. Okay, you is understood as the subject in imperative sentence. You is understood as a subject. Okay, so imperative sentence expresses an order, command or advice, suggestion or request. It ends with a full stop and subject is not present in imperative sentence. You is, the word you, pronoun you is understood as the subject in imperative sentences. Okay, so to make you more clear, to make these points more clear, I will give you examples. The very first example which I am going to give is, the very first example of imperative sentence is, shut the door. Shut the door. Now see here children, in this sentence is neither assertive nor it's an interrogative. Why? Because this is not a statement. The sentence is not declaring any fact. Okay, it's not a statement. Neither the sentence is asking any question. Okay, question mark is not there. It means it's not an interrogative sentence, because interrogative sentence always it ends with a question mark, an interrogation mark, which is not present in this sentence. Okay. Now you may get confused between assertive sentence and imperative sentence, okay, by seeing this full stop. You may say that assertive sentence also ends with this full stop, okay, and imperative sentence also ends with full stop. But assertive sentence, they are statement, okay, they are declaring any fact. They declare facts, but here this sentence is not declaring any fact. It's not telling us, it's not a statement given, it's not expressing or telling any fact. Okay. Instead, this sentence is giving you a command. Okay. This sentence is giving an order. It's expressing an order. Shut the door. Okay. I'm not giving any statement, I'm not declaring any fact. Instead, I'm commanding you to shut the door. Okay, or I'm commanding someone to, or I'm ordering someone to shut the door. It's an order. It's not a statement. Instead, it's an order. Okay, so shut the door. It's an order. Okay, and as you have seen in the very first point here, it expresses an order or command. Now, the second example is, please sit down. Full stop. Now here also you can see in the second sentence, second example which I have given here, please sit down. Now see here in this sentence, the word please is used. You can see here, the word please is used. Okay, and you all know that the word please is used for requesting, for making request. Okay, so since this word please is used here in this sentence, please sit down, you are requesting someone to sit down. Okay, so here this sentence is expressing a request. Okay, it's expressing a request, and you can see here it ends with a full stop. It ends with a full stop. It's a request and ends with a full stop. So these two sentences, here in these two sentences, children, you can see the very first sentence is expressing an order. Second sentence is expressing a request. It's expressing a request. So these two sentences are imperative sentences. Such types of sentence, such kinds of sentences, such sentences are known as imperative sentence. Okay, you can see here that since they are sentence, they will always begin with capital letter. All the kinds of sentences, they will always begin with a capital letter. This thing you keep in your mind. Some of them may end with full stop, some of them may end with question mark, some of them may end with an exclamation mark also. Okay? So, now see here, this is an order, this sentence is expressing an order, this is expressing a request. Now suppose in this second sentence, if I remove this word please, okay, if I remove this word please, so what will be the sentence? Sit down. Now what is the sentence? What will be the sentence? Sit down. Now here, you are not requesting anyone. Instead, you are ordering someone or you are commanding someone to sit down. Now here it becomes a question. Here it's a sentence that is giving an order or giving a command. and it ends with full stop. This is also an imperative sentence, children. This is also an imperative sentence only because they are expressing order, they are expressing command, they express advice, they express suggestion, they express instructions, they express request. Okay? So now also it's an imperative sentence only. Why? Because now it's not requesting anyone, instead it's commanding someone to sit down. Okay. Now I will give you one more example. Never trust a stranger. Never trust a stranger. Full stop. Now see, this sentence is not an assertive sentence. It's not an interrogative sentence. Okay. Not an interrogative sentence. Why? Because it does not start with a question word. Means it does not start with WH words. And question mark is also not present here in this sentence. Okay. The sentence ends with a full stop, first of all. So you may get confused between assertive sentence and imperative sentence. Okay, I'm repeatedly repeating this thing, children, that I'm repeatedly saying this thing that you may get confused between assertive sentence and imperative sentence. Why? Because by seeing this full stop, Why? Because in assertive sentence also ends with a full stop and imperative sentence also ends with full stop. But you will have to understand that what kind of sentence they are. What kind? Whether they are statement, are they declaring any fact? If they are declaring any fact, if they are simple statements, they are assertive sentence. But if they are expressing an order, if they are expressing a command, if they are expressing request, okay, suggestion or instructions, they are imperative sentence. So here in this sentence, never trust a stranger. This sentence is advising you, it's giving you an advice, or this sentence is expressing and it's giving an instruction to you or suggestion to you. So this sentence is an advice. It's an advice. It expresses an advice. So this also is imperative sentence. This is also an imperative sentence. Okay. I hope this topic, these two points are clear to you all, that they express an order, command, advice, suggestion, request. You can see first sentence was an order, second sentence was request. If please was added here, please sit down. Then later when please is removed from here, it became order. Then third sentence, never trust a stranger, again is an advice. So I hope first point is clear to you all. Now, second point, it ends with a full stop. You can see in all these sentences, I have put full stop at the end. Okay, all these sentences ends with a full stop. So here these sentences, they end with full stop. Now the very third point is, subject is not present in imperative sentence, whereas subject is present in assertive sentence. Okay. So, two things you may keep in your mind while discriminating a sentence, that whether it is an assertive sentence or it's an imperative sentence, because at some point you may get confused by seeing this full stop. Okay, so first thing you need to keep in your mind, children, that assertive sentence, in assertive sentences, subject is present there. Okay, subject is present in assertive sentence. But in imperative sentence, subject is not present. You can see here, shut the door. Subject is present in the sentence? No, subject is not present. The sentence starts with the verb shut. Okay. Sit down starts with the verb sit. Never trust a stranger starts with word never. Okay. And these three are not subject. Okay. So what, and in these three sentences, now I will make you understand that though subject is not written here, but it is understood. it is understood that you is the subject in these three sentences. Okay, since the sentence is giving command, it's giving an order, it's requesting, okay, giving advice. To whom? To you. To you. So the very first sentence, shut the door. If I say shut the door means you shut the door. Sit down. If I say sit down means you sit down. If I say please sit down means you please sit down. You. Okay? Never trust a stranger. If I'm giving advice to you. You never trust a stranger. Okay, children? So in imperative sentences, you is understood as a subject. It's understood that what is subject in these three sentences or imperative sentence? You is the subject. So now I hope that imperative sentence is also clear to you all. Okay. It expresses an order, command, advice, suggestion, request as I have shown you here. Then it ends with a full stop. All these three sentences ends with full stop and subject is not present. Okay, and you is understood as the subject. Okay, you is understood that it is subject in imperative sentences. Okay, so imperative sentence is also finished. Explanation part is finished. We will do few more exercises. When you will get your books, children, I will start with the lesson 1 once again and we will deal with the exercises. Okay, all those sentences, exercises which are given there in your book, I will write down the exercises and we will discuss the answers in the exercises. Okay, in the online classes. So that's why I'm not giving much examples. Once again when I will revise the chapters, when you get the books, I will again give you the examples, the sentences which are given there in your book. We will do those sentences. Okay, so now I'm going to start the next kind, that is exclamatory sentence. The next kind of sentence, that is exclamatory sentence. Exclamatory sentence. Okay, so now I'm going to start the very fourth kind, that is exclamatory sentence. The very fourth kind, that is exclamatory sentence. Okay, what is an exclamatory sentence? What is an exclamatory sentence? Now children, see, exclamatory sentences express, or exclamatory sentence expresses some strong or sudden feeling. Some strong or sudden feeling. Okay. Strong or sudden feeling means feeling of happiness. It can be feeling of joy. Okay. Sorrow. Joy, sorrow, disgust, etc. So, exclamatory sentences, they express some strong or sudden feeling. Okay, feeling of joy, happiness, sorrow, grief. Okay, surprise, wonder. And the second thing is that it ends with an exclamation mark. It ends with an exclamation mark. With an exclamation mark. Also known as exclamatory mark. It ends with an exclamation mark. See, when I taught you properties of sentences, I told you all that. I've explained you that sentence always begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. It may end with question mark or it may end with exclamation mark also, depending upon the kinds of sentences. So here in this chapter in lesson 2, I have explained you 4 kinds of sentences, and each kind of sentence you have seen in assertive sentences and imperative sentences, they end with full stop. Interrogative sentences, they end with question mark, and here exclamatory sentences, they end with exclamation mark. They end with exclamation mark. Okay, so I'll give you a few examples to make things more clear. Okay, the very first example is what a beautiful house. What a beautiful house. Okay, suppose you have seen a house and it's very beautiful. Okay, so what you will say? Wow, what a beautiful house. Now see here children, in this sentence you are not asking a question. You are not asking about someone or something. WHAT, what? This word is used, it's used here in this sentence, but it doesn't mean this sentence starts with what. But it doesn't mean that it is an interrogative sentence. Okay? It doesn't mean that it is an interrogative sentence, because interrogative sentence always asks about someone or something. It's a question. An interrogative sentence ends with question mark. But here in this sentence you can see, though it begins with what, but here it ends with an exclamation mark, and this sentence is expressing a strong feeling of happiness, okay, or feeling of joy, feeling of surprise, feeling of wonder. Okay, now another example I'll give you. How sad it is. How sad it is. How sad it is. Okay, suppose you have heard a very sad news. Okay, you have heard a news of demise of someone. Okay, someone is dead. Okay, so what you will say? How sad it is. Okay, how sad it is. And here in this sentence you are expressing a feeling of sorrow. Okay, this sentence is expressing a feeling of grief, or you can say a feeling of sorrow. How sad it is. Here also you can see it begins with how, but it's not a question. It's not an interrogative sentence. Instead, it's an exclamatory sentence. Okay. One more example I'll give you. What a pleasant weather. What a pleasant weather. Now see, here in the sentence also, what a pleasant weather. It was very hot, okay, and then you have seen clouds in the sky and it's about to rain. Okay, cold breeze is there. So what you will say? Wow, what a pleasant weather. What a pleasant weather. Here also you are expressing your feelings. The sentence is expressing a strong feeling, strong or sudden feeling. I'll give you one more example. You are such a liar. You are such a liar. Okay. Here in the sentence, suppose someone has said something, or has conveyed some wrong message to you, or has said some lie to you. So, and when you came to know the truth, okay, that person was lying. So what you will say to that person? You are such a liar. तुम कितने झूठे हो. Okay, so here in this sentence you are expressing feeling of your disgust. Okay, you are means after hearing that whatever he said was not correct. Okay, he lied. So what you will say? You are such a liar. तुम कितने झूठे हो. So here in the sentence you are not declaring a fact, instead you are expressing your feeling. Okay, by saying that you are such a liar. And you can see exclamation mark at the end of this sentence. Okay, so it's also an example of exclamatory sentence. Now I hope children these 2 points under exclamatory sentence is clear to all of you, and 4 examples I have given here. As I told you earlier also, that when you will get your books, we will do all the exercises given there in your books. Okay? So all the 4 kinds of sentences I have explained. Okay? And second lesson also almost, explanation part almost completed. But no need to worry. When you will get your books, children, once again I'll start with the very first lesson. I'll solve all the exercises here in my online classes. Okay? And I'm going to give you the definitions now, the definitions of imperative and exclamatory sentences. So note it down and start learning the definitions, children. Thank you. Now see, I've given you 2 definitions here, imperative sentence and exclamatory sentences. So note down this definition in your rough copy and start learning the definition.